No, you don't need the.
I'm doing this my way. He a legend, he a legend, he a legend. He a legend, he a legend, he a legend. He a legend. Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of Iron. Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of Iron.
What's up, everybody? It's Pikel with League of Items, and I won another seat into that qualifier thing. That there have been 95. I've won 2 of them, so kind of a big deal. I'm not sure how many you can have in that big contest. I'm assuming it's 3, so I'll try to win 3, but it might be 6. But they haven't released a promo page. I should probably ask somebody about that. But that's not a big deal. So the tickets are worth $1,900. I played the same lineup in the $15, the big nightly contest that there is. That ended up tying for 23rd. I was 17 points behind the lineup that came in first place. So I had my lineup was Clid captain, Summit, Xiaolong Bao, Care, Fodic, Hong, and Nongshim team slot. And then the winning roster was Care, Summit, Clid, Vikla, Aiming, Hong, Guangdong Freaks. So when I was building lineups yesterday, I definitely wanted to get FPX players and V5 players because I thought that there was a shot at getting FPX as the best stack, which ended up happening with a potential 2-0, which didn't happen but was fine. And then V5 had their 2-0. It wasn't as bloody as it could have been, but that's fine. I wanted to get Clid as my captain because I thought that would be somewhat unique, and it wasn't as unique as I thought it was going to be because a lot of people wanted to play the same type of lineup that I was playing. The different stance that I took, I guess, was more about Nongshim. I'm pretty sure Nongshim should have won that series. I didn't watch it live, but I know on Twitter there were a couple people mentioning that they kind of threw at least one of the games. But again, getting back to the FPX point, I wanted Summit because Summit is a hard carry top laner. It's not that he's going to carry every single game, but there's probably a better chance of him getting Kale or just another carry top laner and actually doing something with it. Like, he played a decent amount of Tryndamere, good at Gnar. He was a proven player in the LCK before he went to the LCS, dominated the LCS in the regular season, played what a lot of people would say poorly in playoffs, and then they got rid of him, which I think ultimately was a mistake. But I like this matchup for him in a spot where we think FPX is going to win. That's a very valuable piece of FPX to have. That's also why I didn't roster LWX. I just wanted to play the kind of angle that if Clid is going to have a good game, there's a possibility that it happens to the top half of the map. So have all 3 of those players, hoping that Clid gets an abnormal amount of the kills. That ended up happening. And then I had the support. I had Care, because Care has had pretty good performances so far this split. And when they win, I would assume that when they win and Clid is the one that scores the most points on their team, I would assume that Care has a decent amount to do with that. Because as a mid laner, I think in the early and mid game, it's probably more likely that some action happens around the mid laner than the AD carry. Then I had Hong just because I thought it was a potential 2-0, so I wanted the game not played bonus. He ended up scoring 76 points either way. And then my V5 stack, I was happy again that they had the wrong jungler listed as the starter. So instead of it being Karsa, Xiaolong Bao played last night. Rookie came back, looked good, and I like Xiaolong Bao. I don't think there's a huge difference between him and Karsa. Karsa is definitely a slightly better player, more experienced player, but Xiaolong Bao has high upside as well. And then Fodic has been playing really well and has had really good DraftKings performances all year. And I was happy that I can get that kind of combination into my lineup. The best team slot available at that point was Nongshim, but I was projecting Nongshim to win the match. They ended up scoring more than KT Rolster in the team slot, even though they lost. I never would have played KT. So congrats to back to labels for the 10K. But yeah, so I won this one and I chopped 23rd for the other one, so that was successful overall. Tomorrow there's only a 2-game slate, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it in this video. We do have a great match. In the first match, Damwon against DRX. I think that if you look at it lane by lane, Nuguri is a better player than Kingen. They had matchups while they were in the LPL as well, so it's not like we should think Nuguri is going to completely dominate Kingen in lane. That's really not the type of player Nuguri is most of the time. He's more of a team-oriented player. Canyon against Piosik. They're both extremely good junglers. I would give a slight edge to Canyon, but they're both very good junglers. Mid lane, Showmaker against Zika. I definitely prefer Showmaker, but Zika is a very good player as well. I think they're undervalued in this spot. I think at plus 223, I think you almost have to take a shot at them. On the money line, I would definitely prefer playing that number on a sportsbook than putting money on them on DraftKings, because if you're on the Damwon side, you're afraid of them having super low kill score because they've been having a lot of low kill score matches. So there's that. And then in the bot lane we have Deokdam and Kellen against Deft and Beryl. I think that Deft and Beryl are probably the better side in the bot lane overall. So when you have, a definite advantage to Nuguri in the from the talent perspective in top lane, but stylistically he's probably not going to completely dominate the lane. Then you have relatively close jungle and mid laner, although it is favored towards Damwon, and then you have a bot lane that I think Deft and Beryl are still better. I prefer that side. It's just I could see this turning into a really slow match, so I'm kind of afraid of it for DraftKings. I would definitely use this game as my secondary stack, and Live Sandbox as my primary stack. So just try to fit those two teams together however you can. So I guess if I was going to say more definitively, I would say I like DRX plus 1.5 maps. I understand if you want to make an outright bet on them. I think their talent is at that level to compete with a team like Damwon. And, if DRX is the kind of team that makes it to the knockout stages at Worlds, which is definitely possible, they kind of have to be able to win this match. They might not win this match, but I think that it's definitely within them to pull off that kind of upset over one of the top 3 teams in the LCK. I think DRX is definitively the 4th best team at worst. So there's that. Sandbox against Homolife, I would definitely prefer Sandbox. The only problem I have with this is that, going into the season, I wouldn't think to myself that Sandbox is much better than Homolife, but I think Prince has been very good, and I think we can kind of play towards that angle. So then on Prize Picks, unfortunately, I can't use Prize Picks anymore in New Jersey to actually make bets, so I'll give my opinions on these, but I'm not playing these because I can't do it in New Jersey anymore. So Nuguri, I think that 5, I think that's a high number for Nuguri. I would probably favor the under. Kingen at 3. If you think that DRX wins this match, that means that they have to win one of the first 2 games. 3 is a tough number to get behind. I think that games that DRX wins, their kill total will be higher than games that Damwon wins. So it really comes down to, do you believe in DRX to make an upset? Then we have Canyon at 4.5 and Piosik at 3.5. I'm more afraid of betting the under on Canyon than Nuguri. So I'd probably go under Nuguri. I would probably go under Kingen. Canyon, I feel like I'm so afraid of not having the over that I would probably favor the over. And then Piosik, I think I would, even in 2 losses, if you told me Piosik got 2 kills and 2 kills in losses, that sounds reasonable to me. The problem is that Damwon has some of these matches that are just so low kill score. But I think I would favor the over for both junglers. Then we have Dove in the top lane at 4. I think that's an easy over. Dove is the kind of player who can definitely get a high total kill total in one individual match. He plays a lot of the carry champions as a converted mid laner. Dudu, I would say the under because I think Homalife loses this. Kroko, I think we can go over with some level of certainty. It really comes down to, do you believe in Sandbox winning 2-0? And then last but not least, on Fleek, I would say under. I think he's a low kill total jungler anyways, and I expect him to lose this match. So I would go with the under. That's basically it. So that's all I've got for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.